There are many different types of ammunition to fit many different types of firearms. We'll cover general functionality as well as many of the popular cartridges in common use today. There are 4 basic components to a cartridge. They're the case, primer, powder charge, and bullet. First, we'll talk about the cartridge casing. Generally made of brass, it holds all the other components. The primer is the portion of the cartridge that, when struck, creates a spark that ignites the powder charge. The powder charge in the case is generally comprised of smokeless gunpowder and is what gives the bullet its velocity and propels it through the barrel. The bullet is the projectile, generally made of lead, and comes in a variety of designs we'll be covering later. Now we'll talk about general types of ammunition. There's rimfire and centerfire. Rimfire is made so that the firing pin strikes the outer rim of the cartridge. Centerfire is made so that the firing pin strikes the center of the cartridge. There's also a plus P round, which is loaded to a higher pressure with more gunpowder. But you need to check with your gun's owner's manual to see if your gun is equipped to handle such a round. Proper ammunition functioning. The firing pin strikes the primer, igniting the powder charge, forcing the bullet out of the chamber and through the barrel. There's some safety issues that you always need to take care of before loading your firearm. You need to check the box and make sure that the cartridge that you're using is what is on the box. For instance, this says .357 Magnum. You need to check the head stamp on the cartridge, and then firearms will state stamped on them somewhere about what caliber they are. For instance, this Smith & Wesson revolver has Smith & Wesson .357 Magnum. So you would use the .357 Magnum round. Another consideration to be aware of is, for instance, these 2 cartridges are both 45s. This one's a 45 Long Colt and this is a 45 ACP. So you need to check the head stamp in the box to make sure specifically that what you're using is made for your firearm. Finally, you want to inspect your round. You want to make sure it's not corroded. This is an example of a corroded round. You would not want to use this round. You want to look at the round and make sure that it's not damaged and it's ready for proper use. You also want to know where the round came from to ensure its reliability. As previously mentioned, there are 2 main types of ammunition, rimfire and centerfire. Examples of rimfire are .22 Long Rifle and .22 Winchester Magnum. The .22 Long Rifle is one of the most popular cartridges made for pistols and rifles. Because of its low recoil, noise, and cost, it is an excellent cartridge to use when learning how to shoot. Probably the most popular match cartridge in existence. It can also be used to hunt small game. The .22 Winchester Magnum, introduced in 1959 by Winchester, it's an elongated and powerful .22 rimfire cartridge. It also can be used for hunting small game. Now we'll discuss some popular types of centerfire cartridges. The .380 ACP is also known as the .380 Auto, the 9mm Browning Short, the 9mm Kurtz, and the 9mm Corto. It's also used by uniformed police in Europe. The 9mm Luger is also a popular round. It's used by U.S. military and NATO allies. The .357 Magnum was introduced by Smith & Wesson. It's more powerful than the .38 Special. The .44 Magnum was introduced by Remington for Smith & Wesson. It can also be used for hunting medium-sized game at close ranges. The .45 ACP is a popular cartridge used for conventional shooting and other types of pistol competition shootings. The .45 Colt has also been incorrectly referred to as the .45 Long Colt. Today the .45 Colt is loaded with modern smokeless powder by many ammunition companies. The 3 most common ammunition problems which can occur are the misfire, the hangfire, and the squib load. The misfire is a failure of the cartridge to fire after the primer has been struck by the firing pin. The hangfire is a noticeable delay in the ignition of a cartridge after the primer has been struck by the firing pin. And the squib load is a development of less than normal pressure or velocity after ignition of the cartridge. In all 3 cases, keep the gun pointed in a safe direction and wait 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, unload the firearm while keeping it pointed in a safe direction. Then, discard the ammunition from the firearm and the remaining rounds from the box it came in. In addition, always check your firearm to ensure proper functionality.